Algebra Zoo website, learning the multiplication tables. His target audience was 8th grade students taking the algebra readiness classes. And now I will hand it over to Mario to present his project.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. I will talk about my journey of creating the Algebra Zoo website. So my story, before I started the program and I was doing student teaching, I was looking into YouTube and trying to find songs that would help students with their different math concepts. And I found Mr. Dewey and Mr. QUE, and they were teachers. One of them was a 6th grade teacher in Michigan, and I believe the other one was in Louisiana, and they were creating rap songs for their classes. And I found a flow vocabulary, and they were creating songs, different rap songs for different topics. So I was really interested. And at that time, I was also playing Angry Birds on my cell phone, so I knew there had to be something for games for math. So my project idea, I was working with a middle school teacher that I known for a while, and and we found out that the students were they were struggling with different operations of arithmetic. But the biggest problem was multiplication tables. And we ended up finding out that the ones that were struggling with the most were the 6s, the 7s, the 8s, the 9s, the 11s, and the 12s. So I decided to work with that teacher and create a website that would incorporate multiplication games, songs, and quizzes, and that would help them memorize the multiplication tables. And after doing all the research, I found out how important it was to involve the parents. So I was going to have a section for that in there. So this all started with a literature review, and I went to the Cal Poly Library website, and they have a lot of resources. I had access to different databases, document deliveries, and many books. So these are the ones that I use. After doing all the different research, these are the major areas that popped out, and I was using an Excel sheet, and I just the three major areas were development of a math program. And under this area, I found like the principles and standards for mathematics, made up of equity, curriculum, teaching, learning, assessment, and technology. And another big section was enhancing the math curriculum. Under this, uh, the important thing is that teachers should research what tools are out there to enhance their curriculum. And then finally, the big one, integrating technology. And technology is essential to teaching and learning mathematics. It influences the mathematics that is taught and enhances student learning. So for my content design, I use this book, E-Learning and the Science of Instruction by Clark and Mayer. And I found different principles I was going to incorporate into my website. And for the top two, principle contiguity and multimedia principle, had to do about presenting the images and the text. And the personalization principle, this one I used it on the game section for informal conversational style rather than formal style. And then the importance of multisensory learning. This is important because different students learn differently. So I incorporated different ways of learning, for example, kinesiology, visually, auditory. And my project design, I used a lot of the things that I learned through the different classes that I took. I used Photoshop. I designed a game in Flash. I used Dreamweaver. Bootstrap was the big one. That's the one. That's the I got the code to make the website responsive, and then I used Miro video converter to convert different video files so I could host the videos on my website. I use Firefox add-ons to save the videos from YouTube, and then I use Bluehost to host my website. Field testing and findings. I was I was working with 2 different classes, and altogether the participants were 43. I got the permission from the principal. Then I went through ERAB approval. It wasn't too hard. I just filled up all the questions. I went back and forth with the advisor, and eventually, 5 days later, it got approved. And then for the field testing, I want to evaluate the effectiveness of the website from the perspective of the students. So these are going to be some of the results that I got. Which section helped you the most in memorizing the timetables? 29 students said the video games. They really enjoy that. 8 of them said the multiplication songs, and 4 of them said the interactive quiz. Did you use the website at home? 14 of them said yes. 29 of them said no, and some of the reasons they didn't use it, they didn't have any internet, no time, they didn't want to, they forgot, or they didn't have any computer access. One of the questions I asked the parents, out of the 43 participants, only 3 parents did the survey, and 2 parents said they spend from 0 to 1 hour with their students, with their the student, and then 1 parent said they spend between 1 and 2 hours. So recommendation for everybody going through the process, set deadlines and stay with them as much as possible, especially when you're working with your advisor and going through different chapters. Number 2, take advantage of the writing format workshops and the writing center. I was going to the writing center maybe like 2 or 3 times a month. So make sure your paper is clear of any mistakes. And finally, this really helped me a lot. I read at least 2 theses from front and back, which are recent and were done under your committee's chair's supervision. So I really recommend telling your supervisor, the person you're working with, if you could borrow at least 2 books, or you could borrow them at the library. So I'm going to show you my project. Okay, so this is my website, and as I was telling you, it's responsive. So if it's seen in a tablet or if it's seen on a cell phone, it adjusts. This has to do with the bootstrap code. These are the different games I inputted. It's pretty much like a central hub. The teacher and I were looking through many games during the weekend, and we're trying to find the best ones. And we got them from mathplay.com, hudamath.com, multiplication.com, and funforthebrain.com. So I'm going to show you one real quick. So this is cool because you could customize. The students could go in here and pick the ones they're having the most trouble with. So they're having trouble with 5s, 7s, and 10s, and those are the ones they could practice with. Good job. So that was one little section, one of the games. I also did my own quiz. I did this in one of my classes for Flash. I'll show you one. So as you see, this is a little bit more simpler, but it was still it took me a long time to do. And then for the video section, I'm gonna play at least a minute of one of these songs, and then
and I feel great. Well, I'm glad I know my eight's better than you. Let me hear you spit some rhymes, and we'll see if it's true. Like 8 times 1, I won't make a mistake. I know 8 times 1 equals 8. 8 times 2, man, you won't trick me. I know 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3, yeah, of course. I know that 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4, I get up early, dude. Cause 8 times 4 is 32. Man, don't get it twisted like a curly Q. I'm like a bird. Cause I can get up early too. So 8 times 5, I know that surely, man. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6, stop, wait. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 7, man, I'm flipping the script. Cause 8 times 7 is 56.